anybody just having like a rough time right now, Mars needs to get out of Pisces. It's not where he belongs, okay? He needs to go back into Aries where he belongs. We can all stop crying, and maybe Jenna Marbles will someday come back to YouTube. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So, it is finally that time. It is mid-year. We've done my fails of the mid-year of the first 6 months of the year, and now we're going to talk favorites. I went back and watched my year-end favorites after Clean Routine 2019, and I was like, this is such an intense video, and I had like 800 caveats for every product. I do think it's a very informative video, but I would like to whittle it down just a little bit in terms of usefulness. So hopefully I can make this just a touch shorter, just a little bit, because that video was like an hour and 18 minutes long. So got myself a little list over here. I will disclaim this by saying, guys, if it wasn't in my fails, I do not regret buying it. Just because it doesn't make it into my like faves does not mean that I don't like this product. So if you bought something on my recommendation and I don't include it in my like, you know, mid-year best of the best, please understand that I don't like rescind that recommendation. I still love those products. I put my hair back with a brush because I hate it and it's annoying me. It's humid outside. And also I do want to say that there are some categories that we fleshed out a lot more this year than other categories, you know, like we talked a lot more about like complexion products than we have like eyeshadow and things like that. So I'll probably just talk about the things that I really, really like, not necessarily the stuff that I've tried so far this year, just because I want it to be an effective review for you. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, hair's back down. So let's brighten our day by talking about makeup. I'm gonna go in order. The order that I typically go in these videos is the order that you put things on your face. So we will start with primers. Mind you, primers that we have tried this year, this is really it. This is the Bite Beauty Change Maker Skin Optimizing Primer. I have been using it in the normal to dry skin variety. You know, the Bite Beauty combo of this and the Bite powder, I think are like a total winner in terms of performance. They're great, but I think that they're all really expensive for what they are. And we'll get to that when we talk about the foundations. But as far as primers go, the main thing that I hear about primers from like makeup artists is that a primer is not necessarily like a one size fits all or a one size fits every day kind of thing. Primers are meant for the special circumstances that you know you're preparing for that day. So I'm gonna be outside all day, you know, and it's kind of humid. I want something that's mattifying, or, you know, I want something sticky, or like I know that it's cold outside and my skin's gonna probably dry out. Probably want something kind of illuminating, whatever. And so this one just being one that's like skin optimizing, I'm not really sure that it like does anything. If you are really interested in this combo, it's beautiful, like I said, but like I don't think you need all three. And the primer like didn't change my life basically, so I don't really have a primer per se, you know, of like this first 6 months, and I think it's just because my SPF works just fine. You know, as far as SPF is concerned, I've been using the Purito. I did read somewhere that, you know, you're supposed to not use something with salicylic acid in it while you're pregnant. I don't know. It's, you know, I'm almost in my 3rd trimester at this point. It's kind of like finding a gnat in your water at the end of drinking your water. But yeah, I think I'm gonna switch to the comfy water instead of the Centella unscented. Okay, that's a tangent. That's, you know, whatever. We're gonna talk about foundation now, because foundation is probably one of the biggest things that we've spent a lot of our time on this year, and I did like an entire roundup of skin tints, like best and worst skin tints. That video did really well. Apparently it's a very, very like popular topic. I really appreciate that it's a popular topic because it's one of my faves too. So I'm holding my favorite in my hand. Out of everything that even like rose to the top in terms of skin tints this year and things like that, because there were a lot. We have reviewed a lot at a lot of different price points. This is just the one that I would recommend to just about anybody. This is the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40, and I have it in the shade Tulum, and like, I have completely different skin than my sister, but she also loves this. Everybody I talk to that tries this loves this. It's $46. Very expensive. It's not that expensive, but it's $46 for an ounce. But it's got niacinamide, squalane, hyaluronic acid, and it doesn't have coconut in it, it doesn't have silicones in it. It is just basically the most effective, cleanest, most beautiful. I don't know why I would swatch it right now because I'm wearing it on my face. You can wear it like, it doesn't really build to full coverage. That's not something I would recommend. But you can powder it with the Ilia powder. You know, you can get away with that. I definitely think it wears well as a cream more than anything without a powder on top, but it's just honestly like the best money I feel like you could spend on something that's going to just love your skin. And I know as soon as I say that, there are going to be people that are like, I'm allergic to ingredients in that. Check the ingredients. Make sure you're not allergic to things in it because everybody's got different allergies. But this is one of the like most unoffensive ingredient lists I've ever seen on such an effective and beautiful and like dewy, glowy, gorgeous product that can be worn anywhere from like Glossier skin tint thickness, which is like, you know, just a blurring layer of pretty texture, all the way to like, you know, you could probably get a little bit of coverage out of it kind of thing. And it's a pretty darn good shade range. Did I already say that? So I said we would talk about this when we talked about, oh, I just chucked the foundation across the room. I meant to chuck the primer across the room. Use your imagination. I have the Pretty Fresh and then I have the Bite Changemaker. This is the primer I meant to bid. I literally threw the foundation across the room because that's the kind of day that I'm having. Guys, you go to work no matter what mood you're in, okay? It just is what it is. I really, really like the Bite Changemaker foundation, but for $39.50, I told you guys I had this like moment where I was like falling asleep at night and I was like, wait a second, those are really similar. I don't even know if I could tell them apart. If I was like, you know, swatching them or wearing them or someone else was wearing them, I don't think I would be able to tell them apart. So the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer, super dimethicone based. So is the Bite, and the Bite is scented. So while I think it's beautiful, and if you bought it, you probably don't regret it. You know, you're not sitting here going, well, gosh darn it, Kackie, now I'm disappointed and this doesn't work. No, it's absolutely gorgeous, but like, they're really, really similar. And this one's $14, you know? So I have this in the shade Fair 2W, huge shade range on this, totally beautiful and very, very cost effective. Oh, let's talk about concealer. So I'm gonna surprise you guys here a little bit because I have fallen back in love with this. You guys are like, I'm sorry, Rituel de Fail? Rituel de Fille makes a concealer. The Ethereal Veil Conceal and Cover. I'm actually not sure how the shade range is on this. I'm really not sure. But I've fallen back in love with this formula because I was looking for something that behaved kind of like the Westman Atelier, kind of like the Glossier, but I wanted something that when it went on the skin, I didn't necessarily have to powder it in order to like kill the reflection, because when I'm on camera, even though I like the way that like the Glossier looks in person, it gets really reflective. And also Westman Atelier is just not one that I tried this year, even though it is my holy grail, let's be real. As far as concealers are concerned that I've tried this year, this one has epic coverage. It does a really good job. It doesn't have like the best, I would say, for whatever reason, like coverage undertones in terms of like when you try and cover a blemish, you're gonna kind of see the purple of it underneath it or the red of it underneath it, depending on your skin tone, whatever. And so you might want to use a color corrector in that sense. But you know, for everyday brightening and things like that, I really have just been enjoying this because it goes on beautifully with a brush. And it's stiff enough at room temperature that when it goes on the skin, it still looks like skin, but it doesn't stay really, really like sticky dewy on your skin. So yeah, I think that this is like right solidly in between Glossier and Westman Atelier for texture and for how it behaves on the skin. And honestly, I'm like really pleased that I didn't get rid of this. Can you hear the rain? The rain is so nice. It just started raining out of nowhere a minute ago, and I just could sit here and listen to it all gosh darn day long. Okay, here it is. Everything's driving me crazy. Okay, so concealer. This is a brand new favorite, and so I actually I feel bad because I haven't worn it in every single situation. I do know that when I wore this with Wowder, wouldn't recommend it. This is the Stay Woke concealer, and I have it in the shade White Pearl T0.5. I think it's the lightest shade that they make. This is so beautiful. I am really excited to continue trying this. It is not just a concealer, but it also has this like, I guess it's just the way that they call it pearl. It has like the reflective quality to it. Like it almost has like a pearly not silver, but a pearl undertone, you know? And just the way that, and that looks really, really light, I know. But on me, when I'm wearing like, I don't know, a foundation and stuff like that, it really, like, you can sheer this all the way out. It has very, very flexible coverage, which I super appreciate. It doesn't get weird and skippy. It's super consistent. And I just can't like describe the way that light interacts with it. It's super, super cool. So this one is just like I said, it's a fresh favorite, but this is definitely worth trying. This is just an awesome, awesome line. Everything that I've tried so far I really like. Okay, let's talk about powder because it could be really long or it could be really short. The long and the short of it is we haven't really tried very many powders this year. We tried the Bite Beauty powder and I like it a lot, but I just don't reach for it that often. Not because it's bad, just because A, I have a lot of powders, and B, I don't use powder that often. Okay, you guys might have noticed here on my channel, we just haven't been doing powdered looks very much. They're just not what I'm in the mood for lately. I like cream, 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 and when I do get really annoyed with my face getting sticky, I still end up reaching for the powder more often than not. Like I said, it doesn't work with everything. It does tend, like it has large particles, and so when you put it on something that, I don't even know, it's like something that's really, really full coverage for some reason, it will tend to kind of like break the pigment up. It's a little heavier, I feel like. And so if you're going to go for like, you know, something lighter weight, the Ilia Fade Into You, but none of those are things that I've actually tried so far this year. You know, the only one that I think that we've really tested is the Bite Beauty. And so it's just all kind of honorable mentions of like what powders I really like. Cover FX, Glossier, Ilia, depending on the circumstances. And then I also really like Hourglass. Did I just say that? I did not say that. I like Hourglass too. All right, bronzer. Bronzer is a category that a lot of people have been asking me about because obviously we're getting into like summertime and I'm very particular about bronzers. I really can only use a bronzer where someone has a like full shade range of bronzers, because if they're just like, hey, here's two, like we talked about this with Ilia and with Kosas, if they just have two bronzer shades, chances are their lightest one is still gonna be too deep for me. And so I really appreciated what Fenty did this year. This is just, she put out an entire, ooh, well that was satisfying. She put out an entire line of bronzers and contours. I do think that she should have clarified, I don't know, she sent PR boxes to a bunch of people, and like Jackie Aina was using stuff, and she was like, this feels more like a contour to me than a bronzer. Each one is like, I believe every other one is a bronzer and a contour. So it goes like cool tone, warm tone, cool tone, warm tone. This is the lightest of the warm tones, and a warm tone to me equals bronzer. I do not have her contour, you know, the palest of the cool, but I would say that it's probably, you know, beautiful just because this formula is so beautiful. So this is O2 Butter Biscuit. And I just love this. I think that she did a fantastic job with these. And again, I just appreciate the mindfulness of putting out a range of bronzers, because bronzer is not one size fits all, it's not two size fits all, it's not even really three size fits all, okay? And it's not just because I have pale skin, it's also because black girls like to bronze too, okay? Black girls need bronzer, and a lot of lines don't cater to that. So yes, this is a home run for me as far as like cream bronzers are concerned. And as far as, I just can't not talk about this. So this is the Daniel Sandler Sun Glow. This is what I'm wearing right now. This is like your shimmer liquid bronzer, totally sheer, absolutely gorgeous. I have no idea if he has a shade for deep skin tones. This just comes in that little set that I got, the little 4-pack, and it is so awesome. I like it so much because it's so subtle, it's so easy to control the coverage, it's buildable, it's beautiful, but it gives you that, like what I call like the how did they do that skin, you know, like the bronzed skin that you see in like magazine ads and stuff, where it's just like, that's not real. You're right, it's not real, it's makeup. And it's probably this. And so yeah, this is like my favorite. I know that it's top of mind because I just reviewed it, but it's so pretty. And of course, you know, there's Salt New York, but Salt New York is not something that I first tried this year. And as far as powder bronzer is concerned, I kind of teased this a little bit. You know, I love my Arrive, but honestly, the Charlotte Tilbury really wins the day. Again, there are only 3. So I might be being a little bit selfish here, but 3 is still a lot more than 1. This bronzer that she put out, this airbrush bronzer, I got it in 1 fair, and it is like such an ideal bronzer shade for pale skin. It is just so, like I like to say, well-informed. They just realize that there are people who cannot wear an orange a mid-tone bronzer. Like, it's just not for everybody. Like, everybody does not have the same shade of bronze. I'm not sure how the deepest tone works on deep skin tones. Let me know if you've tried it. But this also has this really great little punch out right there. So you could order just the refill, throw it in your kit if you have like a magnetic, like the salt palette or something. Or if you just really like this big, beautiful palette, because it is big and beautiful, and by palette I mean compact, this is a refillable package, and I could go off on how important I think it is that someone with as big a name as Charlotte Tilbury is putting out refillable packaging. It should be the norm, and I am glad that it is, at least in her case, becoming the norm. Okay. Time to talk about blush, fam. So if you're new here, you might not know how obsessed with blush we are, but I will not kick a cream blush out of bed. Fact. So deciding which one is my favorite is like picking a favorite child when you have 44 children, you know? So I will say really it is easier because I'm narrowing it down to things that have been released this year. One of my big faves was the Fenty creams. I think that they are so beautiful, and I think that the big advantage of these is the shade range. I just think that they have really interesting colors that you can't really find anywhere else. So my 2 favorites are Rosé Latte and Cool Berry from this line. I think that the other ones are really pretty, but it's just, you know, they're a little bit more dupable, whereas this Rosé Latte, actually, I say it's not dupable, this is a much more cost-effective version of the Lila B Be Lovely, okay? And then this shade right here, this Cool Berry, is just bonkers. It is so awesome. Like, it's just, look at how as soon as I put that next to my face, everything on my skin wants to kind of like lean towards it. It's like, oh, wouldn't we just love to be that nice, cool toned, plummy berry color? Like, it just, it flatters all of the cool undertones, even if you're neutral, you know what I mean? Even if you have a neutral undertone. And so I just found these to be really magical. I like this one, and I like this kind of like colorway, the same thing as I like the Lila B one, because this is like a one step, you know? It's like someone mixed your blush and your bronzer and your contour all together, and you don't necessarily have to like have five blushes on your face at one time, although I am in favor of 5 blushes on your face at one time. The more the merrier. Big fan of that release, and I tried them pretty close to the Tower 28 blushes, and the Tower 28 blushes, after I've used them now for a while, they just get too dewy sticky on my face. It's just a personal thing. I don't hate them by any means, and I do think that they are pretty cost effective. I mean, they're the same price as the Fenty, a little bit more product, things like that. But I just, you know, they are kind of like touted as this like holy grail blush product, and I just kind of, I don't really get the magic. So moving on, are we moving on? I think we're just kind of staying in one place right now. The Daniel Sandler watercolor liquid cheek colors. I just did this video. You guys seem to really enjoy that. I love how I have kind of seemed to attract over time all of these people who are just like, yes, I will watch a 30-minute video on blush, because that's really all I want to do sometimes. So yeah, I have the shade Pop and the shade Luxe. I'm wearing Luxe right now. I don't know. I black out and I put on blush. They're just fantastic. I like them so very much. And like on Skin Store, I was able to get them in a way that was very, again, cost effective. And there's just so stinking much product. When you use these, you realize how little you have to use, and you're like, I'm never going to get through this bottle. I should share this among my friends, you know? Like, it's amazing. So yeah, big fan of those. Powder blushes? Have we tried any this year? We tried the M Cosmetics one, and I was just like not that impressed because they're very shimmery. We tried the Saint Beauty one. It's fine. But honestly, I mean, you guys watched my blush countdown video where I was like counting down my blushes from worst to best, and you guys were like, none of this feels relevant to me. I don't wear powder blushes anymore. I feel like that's just kind of the culture on my channel now. We're all just like cream. So yeah, I don't really have one. It's a favorite, you know. Still like my Hourglass ones. I really hope that around the holidays when they put out a new push, they also do some more well-informed shades for different skin tones. Ghost ain't gonna cut it for everybody, okay? Let's talk about highlighters. So we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. The Daniel Sandler highlighter. The Daniel Sandler highlighter is bomb.com. I'm wearing it right now. Again, we're talking ethereal. How did they do that? Photographs beautifully. You put it on your face and I'm like, oh, I'm like really, really good at this. That kind of makeup. It's fantastic. Powder highlighter. I very much enjoy this. This is the Milk Makeup Flex Highlighter and it is just so great. And it comes in multiple shades, which we love. So yeah, they just, I have it in the shade Lit and it just looks like a beautiful neutral rose gold that just loves my face. And I really, really enjoy it. I wear it in all sorts of circumstances. Actually, I'm going to keep that swatched because I want to show you it against my other couple of favy faves here. So we have that one. We have the Root Pretty, the white gold illuminator. These all are going to be so similar. I might have to like sit here and like explain the nuanced differences between them because I mean, for real, that is so similar. Oh my goodness. So I will say like my favorite highlighter that's like a creamy highlighter, that not creamy in texture, but like milky, oh Lord, not glittery highlighter is the Cover FX, but I haven't been using it on camera because I'm pretty sure it got discontinued. I can't find it anywhere. And so I don't want to use something that like you guys can't get. That's annoying. And it's just, it frustrates the diddle out of me. And then, you know, if you want to go for something even less shimmery, you've got your bio-based Big Brightener and Universal Glow from Well People. But again, that's not one that I tried this year. So anyway, that is the Root Pretty. That is the Milk Makeup. And then we have, oh yes, fam, wait a second. Did this come out this year? Oh man, I think this came out last year. Sad. Well, on the off chance that I'm wrong, this is the Aether Beauty Supernova Crush Diamond Highlighter, and it is so nice. It is the craziest. Oh, they are all so gorgeous. Look at them all. Look at them all. They are so, so pretty. So the Aether, you get just an absolute crap ton of product, you know, zero waste packaging, absolutely gorgeous, actual crushed diamonds, the most high integrity ingredients and ethics and everything, vegan, what have you. Same really goes for Root. Root is refillable instead of being like zero waste necessarily, and so you buy like a little packet to refill it with, which is cool. Milk makes no such promises. They're just like, buy our stuff at Sephora. You know, I would say those are the distinguishing factors, and also like, I don't know, do you want kind of rose gold, kind of more gold, or kind of in between? Pinky rose gold. They're all so beautiful, and I think you can tell what my highlight aesthetic is. It's either just like a milky little wash, or it's just like a wapa, and I want to be able to like use it all over my eyes kind of thing. So like I said at the beginning of the video, the one category that we really didn't try a whole lot of stuff in was like things for my eyeballs, just because, well, first of all, 2018 was when I just dove headlong into eyeshadow palettes, and I learned my lesson in a very difficult way that I don't need very many eyeshadow palettes. I don't have that many things that I feel like I want to express myself about with my eyes. And I feel like most of the time it can be done with like a few choice palettes. And so I think that this was the only one that we actually like tried and really loved this year. And this was the Day to Night Warm from PYT, and it didn't even come out this year. You guys bugged me for so long at the end of last year to try it, and I ordered it, and then it just took me ages to get around to actually reviewing it, and I regretted that because it's so beautiful. But this is a really, really great little palette. It has some very, very useful shades in it. I had a whole lot of fun with it, and for people who do like somewhere in between drama and usefulness, this is drama and usefulness, and I really appreciated that about it. And someone did point out the one that's on their website and at Ulta, I believe, is talc free, whereas the one that's like $10 cheaper on Amazon is it's like their older formula, so it still has talc in it, I think. That was just at least what their ingredient list says, and there's a good chance that Amazon just like doesn't copy over their ingredient list properly. I'm not sure. But it was like $22 on Amazon and like $32 everywhere else. But if I am actually like rounding up what I think is like the most useful eyeshadow palette, this is still my most used eyeshadow palette, that and the Thrive one. So this is the Aether Beauty Rose Quartz, and I'll say the same thing that I say about this every time. You know, they have a lot. She has four palettes, I want to say. Amethyst, Rose Quartz, Crystal Gemstone, No, there are 5. And Summer Solstice and then the new Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree is really beautiful, but this is still the one that I reach for the most because look at it. It's all the colors of my wind. Pocahontas. I love these because with the exception of like, you know, obviously there are going to be some more experimental shades that I don't, you know, wear on an everyday basis, but for the most part, these are all shades that I can use directly from the pan, which I'm sorry. I always speak from the point of view of someone who is desperately pale. I can either like play the struggle of trying to like tan myself, like fake tan myself, or I can just embrace the fact that my skin is just really, really light and everything looks super, super saturated on me. And so it's actually like really rare and worth mentioning when I find things that I can use directly from the pan without having to like break them up with like a, you know, pale powder or something like that. And so that's why I love this. This is definitely not for everybody. For Amethyst palette, and gosh, actually like pretty much all of them will work on deep skin tones better than this one. And that's actually why I like this one the best, is because all the other ones they're absolutely gorgeous, but I really have to be more careful with them, or like I have to just expect that I'm going to get more of a look, and I'm just not that much of an eye look person. So this is just extremely practical. And then as you guys know, you know, this Thrive Perfect Eye Palette in Warm Neutrals, it's just got everything that I need. It's got this gigantic one that's just white, which is what I'm always craving in every palette. This is my palette I use to back myself out of anything. This is my second one of this. It's a, you know, a perfect champagne shade that's like a highlight that works, you know, in every circumstance for me. And then, you know, a whole array of warm to cool browns. So we've got, you know, a very warm brown. We've got a really cool, like, you know, deep brown. We've got a really cool tone transition shade. There's even a black in here. This thing is just like outrageously useful. So those are the ones that I tend to reach for the most, even though they're not what I tried this year. Oh, and the Rowan palette. I don't have it like right here. I think it's like stashed, not stashed, but like it's in, you know, it's like actually like organized right now, said the Aries. And so, yeah, that's another one that I actually use a whole lot. I kind of, you know what I mean? You flirt in and out with different things, and that's like one that I was reaching for a lot a couple of months ago. It's just so beautiful, but it does, when it gets pretty hot outside, it will crease. It doesn't crease to the point that it really frustrates me, but if creasing bothers you, it does crease a little bit. So mascara, I'm still using Thrive, and I'm using, this actually did come out this year, Crystal, the new brown shade, and I'm very, very happy with it. Now, like I said, Leanne did try this. Leanne is a great example of someone who has a lot of trouble keeping curl in her lashes, and this was her least favorite out of the 5 that everybody recommended that she tried, and that is because it is a heavy formula. The weight of the tube should tip you off. It is just, it's such a luxury item, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think that like that's why there's a whole wide world of mascaras out there, is because not everybody's needs are the same. I have absolutely no need to hold a curl. My eyelashes are buoyant all on their own, but yeah, I love this, but I totally understand if you have like very straight lashes and they won't hold a curl. I wouldn't recommend that. I would probably recommend something more like this if you're into the tubing type formula, so the Glossier Lash Slick, but it definitely doesn't build volume anywhere near as fast as the Thrive. All right, brows. I have not met a brow product this year that I didn't love. Okay. Oh wait, yes I have, Say Beauty, sorry. Pencils wise, you know what I mean? All of these are just kind of like in the same corner of just being perfectly fine. Eye of Horus I just finished, so it's kind of like in my empties now. New M Cosmetics one, it's not new, but it's new to me. Love it, you guys are great for recommending that. And then there's my old mainstay of Thrive, obviously. Those are just kind of like all of my favy faves. Boy Brow is gonna always be my top favorite. But man, I like both of these. It took me a minute to get used to this. Like I said, this is the M Cosmetics one, the fluffy brow situation. Blonde, brow, cream. And it's got a lot of hold. You have to be careful with it. And for something with so much hold, I think the brush is a little bit obnoxious because it's really flexible. But once you get used to it, it's actually really good. I like how much hold there is. It's just like it's a completely different experience. It doesn't really seem to have like fibers to it the way the Boy Brow does. So it doesn't build as much volume, but it does have a lot of pigment and a lot of hold. The Patrick Ta has much less pigment and a lot more hold. It's more of a wax, more of a soap brow aesthetic. And I enjoy this very, very much. I also did, guys, just buy the Patrick Ta blush. I had y'all vote for that on Instagram because I could not decide between Rose and Coral, and it was still neck and neck, and I honestly don't think it's gonna matter they're going to be beautiful regardless. But the one thing that kind of held me back from buying it was just the fact that it's a cream and a powder in the same compact. Oh, I'm like imagining what a mucky mess that's going to be, but we'll try it anyway. I trust Patrick. I also did just buy, because you guys are awesome and tagged me in and I didn't even know that it existed, the new Kjaerweis concealer. I bought that yesterday, so be excited to try that for you guys. And if somebody comments down below, are you planning on buying the new Kjaerweis concealer? You know that they haven't watched this far in the video. Haze them. I'm just kidding. I do want to talk about lips. Finally, yeah, I guess that's it. Can you hear the rain? Isn't that nice? I'm having that piped in for ambiance. The only lip liner that I like tried new this year is the Wayne Goss. I think that they are lovely. I am actually wearing this one right now. This is Mauve. Mauve goes really, really well with some of these Danessa Myricks shades. And then also Sepia. Sepia, I think, is just like it's just a very, very universally flattering shade. Cool tone red brown. So maybe not universal, but like universal-ish. Universal is a dangerous word. So finally, lip glosses. If you're like, Kackie, what about lipsticks? You guys know I don't really try a lot of lipsticks. I didn't love the Wayne Goss lipsticks. I think that the Bite Beauty lipsticks were like some of the best ones that came out this year. Although I will say, honorable mention, this Bite Beauty lip primer is awesome. If you are someone who has trouble keeping lip color on your lips and you want to just make them stick, this is awesome. It's actually like I've never used anything like this. It's so, so cool. It's minty, it's clear, it's mattifying, and it grips. It's cool. So yeah, out of all of the lip glosses, guys, I have tried so many lip glosses this year because lip glosses are among my favorite things. And I do still want to do a like counting down all of my lip glosses, but honestly it feels again like Sophie's Choice. But the ones that really rose to the top this year so far were these. So the Wayne Goss formula, which they restocked. I didn't get a notification or anything, but I posted it on my community tab. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, because they were all sold out and he finally restocked. I have Tulip here in my hand. I have Hyacinth and Hibiscus down there. They're so beautiful. I did a whole video on them. They're absolutely gorgeous. They remind me of MAC lip glass. It's really what I would compare them to. They're minty, they're glossy, they're pigmented, they're really, really pretty. Okay, that was like not the best thing to do on top of what I already had going on. It just kind of blanked my lips out, but anyway, that's a very, very nude one, Tulip. I like to wear it with like a darker lip liner. Don't even be afraid of the shimmers because they're super, super beautiful. They don't have like a metallic thing to them. They have like almost like a plumping illusion to them because of that shimmery factor. So I enjoyed all of those, and the formula is super, super lovely. And the other one, guys, this is just such a home run, this whole release. I have all three of them. I bought them literally in 3 different orders, and it was because I kept trying them and I kept being like, no, 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 I need all of them. And if they put more shades out, I will buy more shades in them. The Rowan Kiss My Liquid Lip Balm, oh my gosh. Remy, the first one that I bought, I was like, oh, I want the lightest one. It's a tad orange. It's just, you know, as far as nudes go on me, another dangerous word, this one's it pulls a little tiny bit orange on me. I believe that this one is my favorite. This is Charlie, and it is just the perfect rosy color. It was what I was wearing before. I just put on that nude one that didn't really match. It goes so beautiful with my Kackie lip liner from Thrive. Oh my gosh. It makes me so happy. And it has an amazing plushy texture to it, and also is minty and slightly plumping. But it wears like a lip balm, but it looks like a gorgeous luxury lip gloss. And for that reason, I think it is worth every penny. Both of those are worth every penny. Hopefully, that was a more effective roundup that was a little bit more useful for the time spent than in the past. Mid-year, you know, we tried a lot of stuff. We haven't tried so much stuff that I feel like I need to sit here and just like, you know, beat you guys over the head with every single thing that we've done. Highly recommend, you know, going back and watching those videos if you want more detail on any of these products that I just totally love. At least you know now where to start, what to look for, you know, if you're like brand new to my channel or something like that. And I shall reiterate, just because I didn't mention something in this as being my tippy top favorite does not mean that I regret buying it. There are so many things that we tried this year that were really, truly lovely. So yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you're having an okay time. I do want to explain what I meant in the beginning when I said that Mars needs to get out of Pisces. Mars doesn't belong in Pisces, okay? It's like its last house. When it gets into Aries, it's exalted, it's happy, everything is where it's supposed to be as far as like motivation is concerned, and it's why we feel so much like, at least I feel so much like deep sadness rage right now. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but I definitely have just been like crying multiple times a day lately. All I have to do is like think about my cat and I cry. Like, I don't even, you know? So yeah, I hope that you guys are doing okay. I hope that you guys are taking whatever self-preservation measures you need to take right now, because it's an exhausting time. And I want you to know I'm right there with you. So I really do love you guys. I really appreciate you. I hope that this moment that I'm able to take in my day to do a little bit of like sanity maintenance is also sanity maintenance for you guys. Even if you don't feel motivated to buy makeup, you don't have to buy makeup for your sanity. You know what I mean? Let's just do makeup together. Let's just use this as an excuse to hang out. That's what it is. And I really appreciate you guys. Halfway through the year, I cannot believe it's halfway through the year. Also, I get to go see my baby today for the first time in 4 weeks. Oh, talk about a milestone. I'm just so excited I get to go see him on an ultrasound today, and I think Mike can actually come, so yeah. That's where I'm at, guys. If you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, I hope you do. Hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. Hit the notification bell. I upload as often as I can, so come hang out whenever we do that. And I love you guys. I really do. I love you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.